I think I'm streaming now. Mm-hmm. Not hearing too much from the Discord voice channel, that's good. Too much from the Discord voice channel, that's good. Alright, let's start. Pretty sure BBQ is here. Oh, we just had a power shortage in my house, so I had to have an electrician. I hope everything is back to good again. Drinking a coffee now. How can I organize this the best? This smaller. Oh wait, yes. Okay, I think like that is pretty good. Oh wait, I hope one can put in the settings. I thought when I just closed the red player spot, I could do it as the host when I'm observer, but it's not working as intended. So first, this should be good. I hope there's, oh, Hurricane, interesting. I hope there's a good balance between the in-game sound and my voice. So let's see. Camera 3K. That's really cool actually. Should I cast like that? Probably not. Alright. Oh, we have the game time on top. I like that.
A player's forces are under
So
attack.
they all sending at about the same time, one a little bit earlier. It's always a thing where you send those a little bit before them, just so you're early enough that he cannot use the next income wave to build here. And he's stealing like 4 or 5 lives with it. Stealing some back. They start with 70 life, so there's quite a pillow.
A player's forces
I
are
would
under attack.
play very risky with 70 life. Term has to build at least 3 towers here. 4. And BBQ already a lot higher in value, but this is somewhat normal, I would say. It's just that Wangman and Term managed to stay pretty low. Oh, I need to warm up, I can tell you guys.
A
Wasn't
player's
sleeping a
forces
lot
are
that
under
night.
attack.
So that's a cute move right here. Now BBQ might show us something. Oh no. I figured sometimes when you close down the line like that and you start with the bottom line, which I didn't usually do, but started recently,
A player's
and then when you
forces are
close
under
down the
attack.
line like that, sometimes the creeps get repassed to just run that line up again. BBQ massively investing. Not sure if he just wants to play a bit more safe in this game. I could understand him. But when you want to win against Wang, you have to get a slight income edge, I would say.
A player's
Oh,
forces are under attack.
big spider wave from BBQ. And he's sending into Wang, so Wang is gonna struggle a lot with that. He's making 2 gunners, which is not the ideal response. I would want to see like 1 ogre in this spot here, and now he has to close everything twice almost. Yeah, no, just let it through. So that was a great send here from BBQ. Wang had to jump up a lot. And in the meantime, he had a pretty chill time. So I haven't seen much of an aggressive BBQ, but I heard of him. Usually BBQ is more of a defensive player who tries to get high income into sudden death with enough life and then just play it out from there. But recently he has been mixing it up, which I like a lot. Makes it for more exciting games, of course. Now BBQ is actually up in mace value because he already built 2 splashers. And that is because Term sent a lot of spiders together with aura, but just 1 aura. Arguably 1 splasher might have been enough to clean it up. Maybe some more building down here. Now Wang also with 1 splasher, that's more like it. I don't really like how many gunners he got early. But they're useful against Shades, of course. So now some big grunt waves should start. I mean, they could have started earlier already. But it seems so far they are mostly income spamming, especially BBQ. Term, on the other side, is getting quite a decent grunt wave. He is spacing it out too wide, however. Like there's too big of a gap for those to be useful together. But perhaps if he sends air on top of this, now it's gonna be dangerous. Yeah. So BBQ falling behind in income a little bit. Term going quite aggressive. That's also nice to see. And Term going for 1 cannon tower himself. I don't like this at all. The Shades, it's gonna be useless against them. And you always have to think about Shades mostly in tier 1. I like that 1 horizontal line of shock particles by Wang. It's always hard for me to say if it's better to just stick on water with Hurricane for tier 1 or to go shock early. What speaks for stick on water is you hold the big grunt waves a bit more efficient, and also the big shade waves. I think the splashers might be better, especially the Tidecaller, the 800 version of them, this one. But on the other side, the shock particles are dealing much better with the knights and with the mud golems also, and especially with the rod golems. And I think the rod golems have become more income efficient recently. I only just realized this a couple days ago. That means that people are much more likely to send them. So having a good chunk of shock particles early like Wong does it here might actually be the way. BBQ on the other side choosing to solve this problem with the Rod Golem with a lot of grinders that are 30 gold. I don't think it's gonna do too much, honestly. Let's see that Rod Golem. So he just got through all of those and he's like 300 lives down. If you had this money invested in shock particles, I think it would have done a lot more to the Rod Golem. But still he's gonna hold it with the guard towers, but his income is taking a dip. So I think shock particles is actually the way here in the early game. Just not like that, because then you cannot hold the shades with them, you just hold them at one side. Something like that. Or what I would do is I build up quickly here and then try to like do shock here, something like that. Might also be good. And one tight color I also like, just for the big shade waves. Because the knights and the rod golems, when you leak them, you lose a lot fewer lives. So it's not that bad actually. But so many guard towers I don't really like. I think Wang is playing it by far the cleanest right now. And Term still playing it cleaner than BBQ arguably. He's higher income and higher mace value. And now Term is eating tons of knights, against which the tight colors are really good, and the bombard towers also. So those aren't doing that much, even though it's a ton. This pocket here is cleaning it up really well. But I want much more shock particles from Term now, because you have to think about the Void Walkers soon, and then I would want this to be covered. And perhaps also rebuild this part here into the final form already. So this looks like knights will be cleaned up, but the rod golems get through pretty nicely. There is no guard towers in the back like we have with BBQ. But still they're not doing too much. But behind them, the Vengeful Spirits, like every line behind what Wang sends into Term is a bit stronger than the previous one. Now even with the trolls, those get rerouted however. Good time to rebuild. That's a very important move here from Term. He even says reroute, so that's good sportsmanship here. And the Wind Riders on top. I like that from Wang. Perhaps I would have switched the position of the Knights and the Rod Golems. So just because of the speed. But this way is also really good. So that's gonna be some leaks here from Term. Now Term had to double his mace value compared to the others to hold this. And even then he leaks some. And now he has all berserkers in the back, which is bad of course. You need them here. And honestly you don't really need grinders with hurricane tech. You just need those. And maybe the 800 version exactly. Now that's a ton of Void Walker. I think Wang is out for blood here. Let's see what BBQ is doing to Wang. He should get an offense going himself. Wang manages to stay much lower on mace value. And that is because BBQ is income spamming only for the past couple of minutes. But on the other side, Wang is focusing a bit too much on offense now. And that means he's starting to leak Vengeful Spirits in bunches. Which is also really bad of course. Now Wang and BBQ up on the same. Wang is upgrading the front however with damage, which is good, and not the back. But those Dragon Spawn are still gonna leak. I don't think the 10k water are good honestly, I think they suck. Like I was thinking to myself the other day, if I have, yeah look how many leaks this is. And theoretically this tower should be very good against Dragon Spawn in terms of damage, also against Wind Rider. But it's not doing too much. I was thinking the other day, if I have the mushroom tech, where you have the 10k of those, should I really build those, or should I just stick with the 800 and then go for berserkers? And I think the maulers and the berserkers and some ogres are better actually than just the 10k water, which speaks against. But perhaps I don't see its potential, but to me they suck. The Hurricanes in some small numbers are good to hold Banshees and stuff, but those 10Ks are bad, I think personally. Maybe you guys have it different. So Wang's having a big income lead here, almost 40k. And BBQ jumping up in mace value, term somewhere in between. Term stealing a lot of lives. Oh, big dragon spawn sent into BBQ, who's at 100k mace value already. But a lot of it is in all those power generators, which are pretty good. And also some artillery towers, which I also like on Hurricane. I would put like one artillery tower here, maybe one here. Let's see how Wang does it. 0 artillery towers. But his mace also looks really nice. There's a lot of damage throughout the mace. Now there is a lot of sea turtles in Wang's mace. And mostly the chaos damage from the shock particles is gonna handle them. But it might be that they get deeper here. The problem is BBQ's income is already so low that he can't really hurt Wang badly anymore. Well, just when I say it, Wang had to double his mace value, so nice send from BBQ. But he's not gonna steal any lives. So Wang now has a commanding lead with the good amount of lives and the most income and by far the most mace value. And Banshees aren't that big of a threat against Hurricane. The Kobolds are the first thing I think that becomes very dangerous for Hurricane. And the Sea Turtles actually are also pretty good. So this was only held so comfortably because Wang jumped up in mace value a lot. As we can see here for BBQ it's a lot harder at 150k to hold the Sea Turtles. Even with the artillery towers, which might be slightly better positioned. But he's losing a lot of lives. He had the most though. So BBQ is concerned in keeping up with Wang on the income. That means he can still take it from him, or could still take it from him in the sudden death. And also Term keeping up, so I gotta give credit to all of them. It's a pretty narrow game. Now Wang comes with a big Banshee wave into Term. Let's see if he targets the Hurricanes. That looks okay-ish. Maybe one here, very good. Yeah, maybe 3 leagues or so. Kobolds also might get through here. Yeah, Term had to upgrade a lot now. Now his mace value doubled. And I'm having quite some FPS drops, but I don't know what is the reason for that. No, not FPS drops. Just some lag. Maybe it's due to the streaming, I'm not sure. I must ask them if they have the stutter as well, or if it's just from the stream. Maybe I have to change the settings slightly. So Wang's still ahead. He hasn't been under pressure for quite some time now. That means he could get his income back. And now is about the time where you want to have your first upgrade. And with Hurricane I feel like there is 2 routes that are both pretty legit. One is what BBQ is doing here, which is you go the Abyss Stalker, so you already get very decent slow in your mace. Very good slow for just 50k. Now he must focus the Hurricanes on the Banshees a lot, please. Yeah, this might actually look better. So he gonna leak like 12 lives here, or even more, maybe 20. Uh-oh. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. So Term sending really well into BBQ here. I think BBQ is also not the most well versed with Hurricane. as he loves playing Levy mostly, but he has been changing it much recently. It's just you take some time to adapt to every single tech. Still BBQ keeping his income lead over term, however, so that was deliberate for him to about league that many, but he could have done it a bit more smoothly, I would say. And now BBQ does the classic Hurricane route, which is Abyss Stalker, and then you go Earth. And the cool thing about that is you already have the ultimate Ancient Guardians. You can also see BBQ's mace value jumping a lot now, and the logical next thing for him to do would be to save up some gold, and then to get a big send going into Wang. However, Wang looks pretty ready. I mean, look at how many voltages did this, that is crazy. But with the right stuff he might get through. It's hard, however, to see what might get through here. Also, I like the Hurricanes. Maybe one here or something. Okay, now Wang's stealing a lot from Term. Spider's leaking here. And Term decides to send spiders on top of that. Not sure if it's good though. The spiders all have 0 armor, because this basically clears spiders easily. It's just that BBQ has 0 of those. I would at least cover the 4k voltage because of the percent hit point damage, and especially because he has the slow already. So making those all 4k is not that big of a deal. Maybe have 3 less of those. On the other side, he's going for a lot of ultimate maulers in the back, so that's not pretty at all. And he will still leak the spiders. At least some of them. Yeah, that's mostly because he didn't have the maulers here. And because he could have better slow coverage, like his entire back box is not built. This is where I would want to have also slow coverage. Let's see how Term is doing. Term and Wang taking a life lead now, with Wang also taking an income and a value lead. So slowly but steadily, I think it pays off how smoothly Wang plays. Now BBQ going for Griffin's End. But against this many Hurricanes and this many voltages, they're actually not doing too much. Like, either they all get through or they all die, but it's gonna be very close. Yeah, some small lives, but that's not worth it, because Wang didn't have to invest too much. Now he's sending more behind it. Term says reroute. Let me check this. Oh yeah, that was an important reroute. What Term is gonna leak like a ton. Oh my god, look at how much. That's gonna be like 40 lives. Ouch. Okay, Wang starting to close it out here. Getting into tournament shape. Looking really good. And BBQ still not having the voltages. Come on! Instead he opts for the Gravedigger, because you have the Gravedigger open on Ancient Guardians. But work what you already have. Work with what you already have. Such a pity that they're not upgraded. Wang on the other side dealing with Griffins in the most stylish way imaginable, with just mass Storm Commanders and tons of Hurricanes, and now a bit more slow and ice. So Wang chooses to actually also go for the Abyss Stalker, but then he transitions into ice instead of earth for the armor pen, which is pretty good because they hit at the crystals, of course. BBQ on the other side, his Griffin defense is not up at all. And that is a result of the route he chose. But there's also some positives about the Ancient Warden route. For example, you cannot Wendigo train it, and it also holds the Crypt Fiends much better. If there were voltages, that is. So I think both of these are equally legit in terms of tech, but Crystal is a bit more of vogue right now. And Terms slowly dying. Well, seems to have stabilized. And now they're all equal in income, but one with 100+ lives lead. That's also interesting to see. So he perhaps chose to convert his lead into lives and not more income. And instead he got his mace up very quickly. You can see Wong, it's only 21 minutes, but he's just teching and building already on 6 million here. He feels like he can take it comfortably from here. Yeah, at this point there's not really much that BBQ can do to hurt Wong anymore. Hurricane is very smooth tech in terms of transition, and if he was about to send a big A-bomb train now, there would just be all orb keepers and it would be held. And there's already like max slow and max armor pen with it. What I don't like is the disc game, I just wanted to say. But now Wong is starting to spread them. So now first he's gonna be covering everything with earth, which is the most necessary. BBQ on the other side having a rainbow disc already. And tons of Gravedigger, and he stubbornly refuses to upgrade those. I'm starting to feel like that's actually his game plan. Now Term going for the early, you can say that's early for those Armageddons, early moonbeams. I think it would be much wiser to go for the vault tech first, just the 10k vault, so you get the orb keepers up, and then you get the moonbeams when necessary to get the vault up. Okay, adding in the guardians here now. So we have guardians at the front everywhere. That means they are pretty secure against MG. And BBQ playing with a ton of Gravedigger to hold everything. That works too, of course, especially when you have Lich and Ultimate Guardians. And now finally he went for the Storm Commanders. Way too late in my opinion. And 0 Hurricane in front, just like 2 in the back here. But also 2 Hurricane can do a lot already in slowing down those Griffins. Oh wow, he goes for max Divine Shrooms. So that's a big investment. But he's in the income lead still. Wong on the other side at 8.6 million. I'm wondering if Wong just isn't really looking anymore and just keeps upgrading and upgrading his mace, which is very decent when you want to be ready at sudden death, but of course your income is gonna take a big dip. So as it looks like right now, BBQ theoretically could still win the game. He's got the income lead. But I don't think he played that pretty of a game, to be honest.
A player's forces are under attack.
Now Term sending worms. Oh, okay. So GG there. And at this stage I feel like both of them will... they could actually send mass behemoths. No, I mean, Wong cannot, but BBQ could send mass behemoth into Wong's mace. That would be pretty good. He would need quite some Gravediggers to hold it. Also the Lich coverage might not be enough for a clean hold. But again, he would just have to tech a little bit. So at this point, just income spamming might be better. And they will head into sudden death on pretty much equal incomes. Perhaps BBQ even with a slight lead, despite him having more mace value. So we might be witnessing an upset here. I think it might have to do a little bit with BBQ having more APM than Wong. And in order to deal with that, Wong has chosen to gear into sudden death much earlier. which is why arguably his mace looks much more ready. And they are very similar on income, 4.4 and 4.3 million, that's very similar. Wong jumping up the mace value, whereas BBQ chooses to go for the Shredder train right away, which is the right choice because BBQ desperately needs lives. But I think it will secure the game for Wong in the long run. He can leak like 150 lives and still win it. And if he just upgrades his mace until then, he's gonna have everything to steal back from BBQ. And his mace looks kinda ready, honestly. I mean 34 mace value. Just some small adjustments that are still missing, but about 95% of the mace is ready. And just some more discs. He will leak maybe 10 to 15, maybe 20 lives. Let's see. But on the downside, BBQ had to focus entirely on his sending and doesn't even have the moonbeam yet, nor the vault, but those can be inserted very quickly. But still, at this time, like, look how deep Wong is already up until here, and the moonbeam's only just getting up, and next he needs the vault. And ideally then even the devourers after that. But until they have mana, it's gonna be a long time. So now that's a huge send from Wong, which he can do very freely because he has completely upgraded the mace already. 40 million mace value. And those discs don't really matter, but those two here could be good. Like just some small adjustments. Also Wong has like 9 liches in his final mace. It's getting more and more. That's interesting. It's very good against the Kodos early if you ask me. And then against some Huntress late. And now he's stealing big time from BBQ. All these behemoths getting through. BBQ don't have the crystals here. Neither does he have the crystals here. I think those are good, but all things considered, the crystals are a little better. Perhaps in the sweetest spot, the Guardians are still better. So yeah, now BBQ has to play better than Wong from here on out. They have a similar mace value. So theoretically, if BBQ sends better consistently, maybe micros better, then he might still take it. But it's gonna be very hard. What is good is that their send is almost at the same time. So from here on, BBQ still has a chance to win it, which is very good, I think, considering that the early and mid game went worse for him than for Wong. But never count out BBQ in the end game, he can still get to you. Now he finally puts in some crystals. Also relying quite heavy on the Gravedigger, but that might just be GG. Oh, yeah, GG. Or is he stealing? Oh, wow! That's simultaneous steals. Now can he steal more than he leaks? Oh, it's so close. GG. Nice endgame. So let me stop the stream right here and see how it's going.